Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. My name as always is Jamie Hughes and today I'm going to be giving you my review of 47 Meters Down. And if you want to keep up to date with all my latest videos then make sure you hit that subscribe button, and as always with my videos this review may include spoilers so you have now been warned. So 47 Meters Down does have its flaws, but I've got to say I was rather taken aback with how much I actually enjoyed this movie and actually how good this movie is. Now, one of the things this film did really well, and I was kind of had the negative mindset going into it because I just felt like it was going to be a really kind of over-the-top, gory, almost silly kind of film, a bit like Sharknado, where it was trying to be serious, but you know, it wasn't actually going to land. But what they did is they stripped back that sort of obvious horror element they could have used, and obviously this movie takes place 47 meters down, so they're on the bottom of the sea for the majority of this movie, and what they did, which was so well executed, is that they made the sea feel so claustrophobic and so closed in, and I was so impressed with that, and it really brought a sense of realism to this film, and it unnerved me. It made me feel odd, and it unsettled me. And you know, that was kind of what they did a lot with the sharks as well. Like they didn't use the sharks as, you know, the obvious killer horror monster. They weren't used in excess. They were only used within a good storyline sense, which again I really enjoyed because it made for some really genuinely good jump scares and some very good bits of suspense and horror, I guess you can say. And I really enjoyed that they didn't overuse the actual sharks and the whole gore element. Like, they could have gone that route, and I'm so glad they didn't because it made for such a better movie. And yeah, I was just surprised at how good this movie was, to be honest with you. I do have a few constructive points, but as I said, there was nothing in this film that I really found negative. I didn't really like the CGI on the sharks when they were using the sharks in full, like the full body of the sharks. I don't think the CGI looked overly great, but when they started using little bits of the sharks, you know, just seeing the shark's face or like a bit of fin, they worked really well. And it's almost that old the old adage of Jaws, and I always think of Cloverfield where it works really well, is where you only see little bits of the monster, and that's scarier than seeing the whole monster. And I know you can't really do that with a shark because everyone knows what a shark looks like, but if they just stripped that back a little bit more, I think it just would have made me feel a little bit more scared. But other than that, you know, the CGI worked really great, and yeah, it was good. The other thing I didn't really enjoy, but again it got better throughout, was that the acting wasn't great to start off with, but I say as you got more invested in these characters, they started to give believable performances, and that's what I really enjoyed, is that everything with this film got better. I say the story wasn't really great, but one thing that was good about the story is that you're straight into it. It's like 5 minutes of build and then you're straight down in the water with the girls. There was none of this pussyfooting around. I really enjoyed that they got to the point, and yeah, there wasn't much else that was really wrong with this film. The only thing that personally I was a bit gutted about is that I would have ended the film about a minute earlier than they actually did. I would have kept this ending really open and ambiguous because it really took me on a journey, and I did feel a little bit satisfied that we did get a real conclusion to this movie. But then on the flip side, I probably would have been gutted that they did leave it open and ambiguous. But I think within the context of how they built that story up, I think leaving it open could have worked and had more of an impact for me personally. But 47 Meters Down is a film you should definitely go and watch. I think it is a little bit under the radar for some people, but it is a really great horror film. Not in the traditional sense that you feel when you go and see Jaws. It's very psychological, and it really makes you think. And as I say, I'm going to repeat myself here, but the way in which they made the sea feel so contained and so claustrophobic was a masterstroke, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, let me know if you've seen 47 Meters Down. Let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. As I said, it does have its flaws, but I enjoyed it. So I'd love to know what you thought about it. And if you did enjoy this review, then make sure you hit that like button. And why not subscribe, because you'll be helping me out massively as well. And I will see you in the very next episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. Ta-ra!